Hey, welcome back to the Built to Last show. I have kind of a brand new friend here with us today, Nathan Payne. What's up, Nathan?
Whoa, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you too. So let's talk about how we know each other. I love doing that because I've had a lot of people on the show lately, either who I've known for a really long time or people who I just met recently. But I think that's a cool way to start off the show. Like, tell the story of how we actually connected.
For sure.
I'm pretty sure you and I are in two like mastermind slash coaching programs, right? Aren't we in
That's
two of the same ones?
yeah, you're in the family, of course, and then the Tom Kroll's Coaching Inc., right?
Yep. So I don't believe I have met you through the family yet. So just so everybody knows what the family is one of the best, biggest, hottest masterminds, like a true mastermind for folks in the real estate investing category. And I always joke because people are like, Megan, why are you in a real estate investing mastermind? Because I don't do real estate investing. Maybe Nathan can convince me while we're on this show today that I should get into real estate investing, and maybe all of you should too. But I'm in there because a lot of people have, I think like 80% of the group has coaching and education businesses, which is
Yeah.
really fascinating. I'm going to ask you some things about that, Nathan. But
I
we
feel
have,
like that I feel like that mastermind is kind of transformed into just an educational, like coaching mastermind, to be real.
there are a lot. I mean, there's, tech, software, platforms in there, lawyers,
Yeah.
CFOs, there's consultants, all kinds of things. But yeah, I mean, it really is, which is so fascinating to me because I remember when I was introduced to that mastermind, which was wild how I even got myself in there. But the person who told me about it said, you should really start working with people in the real estate investing category. I was like, why? Why would I ever do that? And the person I was chatting with was John Jackson, Nathan. That's how I got into the family.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, so many of them have coaching and education companies." And I was like, What are they teaching? Are we talking like Keller Williams? And you want me to go to a company and like teach their agents? Like, is that what you're talking about? I had no clue that coaching and education was so big in the real estate investing category. So,
Yeah.
how, like, obviously you started out as a real estate investor, you're selling wholesale deals. So, and then you added on, not really transition, but added on coaching people how to do the same thing. So, kind
Right.
of fill in the gaps for us. How'd you get into the real estate investing category? And then why did you start a coaching company when you're already doing well with your real estate investing business?
Yeah, yeah, complete transparency. I'm an open book, so I'm gonna tell you exactly my journey, right? So, got into real estate investing. Like most new things, is difficult, right? You have to figure out a lot of things for it to make sense and for you to be good at it, right? So I was like, well, let me go. After I got started, I was like, let me go reach out to people who are good at this and maybe I can learn. So that's when I started finding out a lot about these coaching programs, right? Like I joined like several. I think I spent over $100,000 in coaching, just because the deals can be so big in real estate that you're like, oh yeah, let me continue to invest and let me level up. So as I started going into a lot of these masterminds, these coaching programs, what I started seeing is I would get tight with a lot of the guys that the coaches, right? That they were running real estate businesses. And as I looked at their business, they were making more money doing the education than the real estate business. And a lot of them had like scaled back, or they were like, yeah, I used to do it, or I did it, like I do it a little bit here and there, but now I'm focused on the real estate, sorry, on the coaching. So I was like, that's where the money is, right? And I've always wanted to get into education and being a teacher. Like even before I got into real estate, like I was looking at being a teacher, like a religious teacher. They call it a seminary teacher. I was looking into being a teacher, like in general, but then it was just the money wasn't there. So I was like, okay. And then I eventually went to sales and then real estate, as we're talking about. So it was just something I saw where a lot of the money was being made, where most of the entrepreneurs that I was like following were doing. So I was like, well, I want to do that too. And as I was spending a ton of money in these coaching programs, I saw holes where I was like, man, I don't like that. I don't like how you pay like $10,000 or $15,000 and you feel like you can barely reach out to the coach or the person, or you're inconveniencing them, right? I was like, I don't like that. So, and I felt like that a lot because, a lot of the times they're really busy and they're the face, and then you get like maybe some courses or whatever the program is. It's just not what you really want. You want like a one-on-one mentor. You want someone that you can have a relationship with. And luckily because of like how good I would say how much of an effort I made to get to know the actual main people, like I was able to break in, but that's not the case for everyone. So I was like, I don't want that to be the case for like if I were to start something, which I did, like I want people to feel like they have open communication with me and they can learn. So that was my journey.
Okay. I love that. So how long have you had your coaching business?
It's been about 2 to 3, I would say almost 3 years now.
Okay, 3 years. So when you decided to transition and add on the coaching, what were your first few steps to get going? Did you start with one-on-one coaching? Did you build a community first? Like, what did you do first so that people knew you as someone who could teach them how to do wholesaling?
So what it originally started as like I wanted to get more real estate deals, so I started a Facebook free Facebook group, and the goal of the Facebook group was not necessarily to get like clients, but it was to do more deals, like more students was to do more deals. So I started providing a lot of value in that Facebook group, showing people how to do the business, showing them how to do everything, hoping that more deals would come. But what ended up happening is people just want to learn how to do it. So that's how I got started
Okay, so you
with the
started with a
Facebook
Facebook group.
community.
You
Yeah,
basically started with a community, building a community.
exactly.
Okay. So I am a super big fan of community. That's how I started my coaching business as well. Well, I take that back. I guess the first coaching business I had in 2011, I built that from speaking in person at networking events. So to a degree, that was community. I did start my meetup back then as well. Fast
Yeah.
forward to 2017, when I relaunched my coaching business, I had worked for a large scale coaching company as a director of client experience. And I remember when I made the decision, okay, I'm going to leave here, I'm going to reboot my coaching business. What's my game plan? And the very first day, it was January 2nd, 2017, I started a Facebook group. And I thought, I've got to have a place where people can come. I can be the generous authority. I can give value. And I remember in my mind, because yours just sort of like organically happened as well, that it transitioned into, okay, I'm not just going to do deals with people, I'm going to actually coach people and create coaching programs. I remember back then I was going to give it 90 days, and I was like poised, planned, prepared to show up in there in that Facebook group every day for 90 days and just give value and never have a call to action and never
Right.
ask anybody to work with me. And I remember, Nathan, I think it was by day 15, people started sending me a direct message and they would say, "Hey, how can I work with you?" Because I wasn't including calls to action. I wasn't saying
Right.
like DM me to work with me. And then I thought, okay, I guess I don't have to wait 90 days if they're signaling to me, ask me to work with you. So I
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
like waited for their cue a little bit, and then I didn't have to just give value for 90 days. But I'd love to hear you talk about the power of community, but in two different ways or two
Yeah.
different places. Talk about the power of community with your Facebook group, the free one. That's like almost like that's your lead pipeline. That's where your clients are probably largely coming from, I would imagine. And
Right.
then I'd also love to hear you talk about the power of community inside of your paid program. Do you run that differently? Is it on a different platform? Just kind of unpack both of those for us.
Yeah. So I've tried a lot of different ways to engage with my community. I know the Facebook one that's been growing, that's always been in Facebook, but for my paid program, I've tried it in Discord, I've tried it in school, I've tried it in Facebook groups. And so anyway, I'll get into that. But for the Facebook group, like the one that's free that I've always been getting, like the power of community is just providing value and then, providing value in the sense of like they can go there and they can get like I would say for me it was a free course, so I gave them a course that I used to charge for, but it's just there, so it's like, hey, immediately if you go in there you're going to get something that's going to be beneficial to you, so providing something to keep them in there, and then engagement, right? Like that's always been the hard thing for me because I feel like Facebook itself doesn't really do a great job of like making sure all your posts get out, which is why I've always tried to go to different platforms. But always going back to Facebook because that just seems to be where the traffic hangs out. And at least for my audience. So anyway, that's what I have on the for the not the paid, and then the paid. I've tried everything. What I find difficult with the industry that I'm in is a lot of people don't really go there for community, at least the people I'm working with. Like they go for specific answers and help on deals and they want to talk to you directly. So it's not like they're really going to interact with others in a community aspect because like most people are new. So they're not really like trying to talk to other people that are new. right? And to get more
Mm,
information. So building like a really big community that's like super supportive has been a challenge in my with my type of avatar. Now that could be maybe that's just a limiting belief or just my been in my experience, but yeah, that's the honest truth about like the
yeah.
community in the paid section.
Yeah, that's interesting, but that's an interesting awareness that you have that the what you're actually coaching on and where people are in their journey, community isn't necessarily what they're there for. It's not necessarily where they're finding the value. And I'm glad that you said that because it's important that we know where our clients are finding value. Sometimes just depending on the avatar, depending on what we're selling, what we're leading with, what the offer is, sometimes community is a big deal. I worked with somebody, you actually know who it is. I won't say the name out loud, but they coach dentists
Mm-hmm.
and they're coaching the dentists to learn how to invest their money and diversify their investment so they're not just investing in the stock market.
Right.
And it's a six-figure investment to be in that program for 18 months. And I did some third-party interviews with their clients, about 30 of them. Not a single one of them joined for community. Every single one of them said the same thing. I joined to make more money. Every single one of them. But around question 2 or 3, and I don't remember what the question was that I asked them. I think it was, is there something that you got that you're getting out of this that was the most unexpected? Every single one of them, all 30 of them said, community. I was never expecting I needed
Yeah.
community, that I wanted community, that's the reason I was even going to stay. And literally like stay year 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, it was community. And it was a bunch of men too. It was predominantly men who were saying this. But I do think it's important that we're talking to our clients. We really know what our clients are looking for, why they're staying, why they're returning. And if community is not what they're looking for, that it's important to know that as the coach.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Because a lot of what's it called? Other coaches in this industry of mine, like they really promote the community. Like, hey, we have a great community. And that's actually what I target. I'm like, hey, look, this is not just another community that you're joining where you're just gonna make some friends. Like, hey, I give that to you for free. You can find that for free. Like I actually attack that. I'm like, here, you're looking for a mentor. If you're wanting to work with me, you're looking for someone that can walk you through. And I call my program an apprenticeship. So it's like you're actually
Oh,
getting to
cool.
work with me hands on. This isn't just a mentorship where you get thrown into a community and you get a couple one call a week or you have to jump on and listen to everybody else's problems. Like this is let's work together, let's get you some deals. So as communities have been super valuable, I also can see that they have not been meeting the needs for a lot of people, and
Yeah.
that's what I target. So they're
Yeah.
good, but also just different desires, right? Some people join
Yeah.
like Pace Morby Sub 2 community because they want that, right? And they see the huge
Right.
value amount of people there. So it just depends what your offer is.
Yeah. So, how do you have your program set up? I love, by the way, that you call it an apprenticeship. I also really love that you are so high touch and really hands on. I've been in the coaching industry since 2011. So, that's about 13 years. So, over 13 years, you see a lot of ebbs and flows and ups and downs, and you see the marketplace really, I mean, I think should be, but the marketplace really does drive the changes that we see in the coaching industry.
Yeah.
And, one of the reasons why I was so shocked 2 years ago when John Jackson said to me, like, you should be coaching people who are building real estate coaching companies. I'm like, I didn't even know that existed because I grew up as an entrepreneur in the very traditional coaching space and coaching model, which is life coaching and business coaching, health coaching, relationship, like that whole world, right?
Right.
Not, I made $10 million as a roofer and now I'm going to start a mastermind for roofers. I have
Yeah.
never I just wasn't around that at all, but that exists
Exactly.
too. And I think one of the things that I have seen change over the last 14 years, and I've really seen it change since 2020, is it's what you said earlier about your own experience of investing 10K or 20K or higher, whatever you are investing in each individual program, but you weren't actually getting access to the coach, or you felt like, hey, I'm reaching out to you, but you feel like you're having to go out of your way to even support you,
Yeah.
but I'm paying you all this money. So I'm curious, one of the things that I believe a lot of coaches are afraid of when they transition from one-on-one to group is how am I still going to be able to serve my clients at the highest level? How can I do this in a scalable way while still being really high touch? So can you walk us through like how do you have it set up? How many clients do you have? Do you have any team? Is it just you? How are you staying so high touch in a group model?
You know, I honestly can't take on that many people doing the high touch, and that's why so many people go group, right? But I think no matter what, like if someone joins a group and they have like the face of the group, they're in their mind they think they're gonna get cool with that person. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it can be a little misleading, right? Like
Mhm.
people think they're getting that person when they pay all that money, and they're just getting, the fulfillment or whatever that fulfillment looks like without that person. So I think that whether people say it or not, like that's how they truly feel. And that's how I felt, right? That's how I felt when I first started. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get cool with the guy. I'm paying all this money. I wanted like proximity, right? So for me, like I don't have that many students. I'm not like some giant coaching company. I've had like 50 high ticket and maybe like 200 low ticket. And I would say like for me, like it's impact, right? It's like being involved with these people versus like let me get as many people as I can. Obviously, I'd like to, but it's just not possible. So I have to charge prices that have it make sense for me. And the ticket prices have changed over time, right? Like what I can charge for the high ticket. But yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of like
Yeah.
where
So,
yeah,
I mean, 50 and 200, a lot of people would love to have 50 people or 200 people in a program. I mean, that's
right,
amazing. That's good. I wouldn't say that's small, but that's like medium size ish, you know.
right,
I
right.
don't think there's that many people in the general coaching space that have thousands of clients. Those are kind of like your mammoth coaching programs. How, like, what does high touch look like? Like, do your clients have your cell phone?
No,
Do you
yeah,
have
perfect.
boundaries? Look, like, I'll tell you this. I think it's a lot easier for men to put up boundaries than it is for women.
Hmm.
There's a lot of groups that are women and women only. And then there's a lot of people pleasing. There's a lot of bending over backwards. There's a lot of no boundaries are communicated, no expectations are communicated. And I think sometimes, and maybe men think this too, if I put boundaries in place, then people are going to leave. They're not going to renew. They're going to be mad, blah, blah, blah. So, what type of access do your clients have, and what boundaries do you have in place so you're not totally overwhelmed?
Yeah, so this has been something that I've changed the fulfillment of like the touch of like how I can actually help people succeed. It's changed a lot, right? Because when I first started, it was like, okay, I'm going to give them everything they need to succeed. Here's the outline, here's the blueprint. Message me if you need anything. And then we'll obviously have the weekly calls, right? But like the proximity in the sense of like message me if you need anything. And what I was realizing and seeing is a lot of people were overwhelmed by the information. They're overwhelmed. There was too much, and they weren't really reaching out that much. Not because I wasn't available; they just weren't doing anything, right?
Right.
So I changed the way I do things now, and I have a 9 step process, like nine guides, and it's all through Facebook, like a Facebook group. That 9 guides, and after every guide, they have it's like 3 parts to it. There's a training, there's action that they need to take, and then if they complete the action, they get a bonus. And the bonus is either a one-on-one call, checkpoint call, or like a gift, right? Like I want to reward every time they take action, so it's like a milestone, it's a win. So basically, what does this touch points look like? It's booking calls for me to check in on their work to see how they're doing, and if they understand by them taking the action, and then obviously they can message me. I they have my cell phones, but I say, hey, just message me on Messenger. I'm on there during work, and when I'm not at work from 9 to 5, Tuesday through Friday, I'm not. I'll be able to get back to you then. So
Got it.
I set the boundaries, and I said, hey, I have life just like you. I work Tuesday through Friday. You can find me 9 to 5. I also have a business partner that I work with. He's way more available than I am. So I'm like, hey, you
Hmm.
can message him if you want. But for me, I like the reason why I got in this was also impact was lifestyle, right? Like I don't want to. That was the problem with real estate, right? Real estate like leads would come in at random times, and you feel like you had to work on weekends and just get deals done because the
Mm,
timelines are super quick. For here, it's hey, I can work when I can work, and I'm going to be available as much as I can during these times.
got it. Got it. So I have two questions. I'm trying to think which one I want to go with. Something that I see a lot of coaches getting stuck in is once they generate X number of clients and they're in client delivery mode, they turn a lot of their attention to just being in client delivery mode, like 80 to 90% of the time.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, a few months down the road, they realize, oh, wait, my lead pipeline and my client pipeline, prospect pipeline has kind of dried up. And it's time for me to either replace clients when contracts have ended, or they want to increase their income by another 10, 20, $30,000 a month. But they haven't been marketing or actively marketing or selling for the last 3 or 4 months because they turn their attention to client delivery. In your world, how do you balance that? Because again, you are very, very high touch with your clients, which I think is absolutely incredible. And I know you said you have a business partner, but how do you balance that so that you're not letting your lead pipeline dry up?
I'm super involved with the Facebook group and I always drive all traffic there. And that's pretty much what keeps the business going is like that community. We don't do any paid ads. We don't do anything like that. It's all just organic. So it's like keep the content going. Pretty much what I do is content and I just record it and then I just give it to my executive assistant. They post it. And anyone that books a call goes to my business partner. So he keeps that the sales side going. And I'm like, it's the face and the fulfillment and the content. So it doesn't seem to slow down like, oh man, okay, now we got to fulfill more because we got like 10 people in. It's all on the calendar, right? So like if they book like if we get 10 people in, there's only a certain amount of slots where they can book those checkpoint calls so I don't get overwhelmed. And it's not putting people out like weeks in advance, right? Or down the line. So it hasn't broke yet. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it hasn't broken. Here's the other thing I really like about your answers is very simple. Everything points to the Facebook group, and then the Facebook group is the feeder for your programs. I mean, it can't be more simple than that. You're just rinsing and repeating. At this point, there's a system in place for that. So I love that. Here's
Yeah.
the other question I was thinking of, because are you still actively wholesaling and running your real estate investing business?
So I was actively running like a separate wholesaling business, but then with all the amount of people that we have coming in, we're pretty much just doing deals with the students. So it's all like congruent and works synergistically with in one. So no, I'm not running like a whole full blown wholesaling company like I was. That I tried it and they both suffer, right? So it's like no, I run a coaching business and I help people do deals,
And you do deals with your students.
right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's my question. My question that I want to ask you is still applicable. How did you know? So you had a real estate investing business before you had the coaching business.
Mm-hmm.
And what factors played a role in you deciding like I'm ready to start a second business? I'm ready to launch this other thing because I'm not hearing that you like quit the other thing and then you just cold turkey started this one. But again, I
Right.
think there's a lot of whatever people want to call it, multi-passionate, multi-dimensional. We have so many ideas. We have so many things we want to do. And I'm glad you actually said when I started the second one, they kind of both can suffer because I also think if we're splitting our energy in too many different directions, also too soon, then that's going to happen. So how did you know when it was the right time for you to start the coaching business when you already had another one?
So this might not work for everybody, but at the time when I started the coaching business, my business partner, and now no longer we work together, right? He was running the wholesaling business on his own. Like what we had built, he was able to manage it. So I was like, hey man, I'm just gonna start like teaching what we're doing. And so he ran that, and so I wasn't too involved with that portion of the business, and he took care of it. And then I started a coaching business, and then later, like a year down the road, when interest rates skyrocketed and it was a little bit more difficult to do deals, he's like, "I'm going to go do something else," and I was like, "Well, I'm going to continue with coaching. I'm just going to do deals with students and do deals the way I teach, and that's called painless flipping." But yeah, so if I didn't have him in the beginning, maybe it might have been more difficult, but the transition seemed easy because he was running everything.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay. Totally fair. You had a business partner, which made it a lot easier. Awesome. A couple of like rapid fire questions. What has been the most challenging thing for you to build a coaching business?
My I wouldn't say my heart. I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. Feeling uh okay with like or not feeling bad about people that join and that don't get results. That's been like the hardest thing because like I don't my thought has always been like, okay, you're paying me and the result you want is a successful business that produces a lot of deals. And not a lot of people get to that point And that's not because I'm not on top of them. It's because they just don't do the work. I think a lot of people will get into coaching because they want like a easy solution. And when they find out the solution is they have to apply, they have to take action consistently and do a lot of work and learn. They just give up. Right. So that's been one of the hardest things for me is like not seeing everyone succeed when I want to, and then having to change my mindset to be like, it's not, the only win that they're going to get is not just getting a deal. It's progressively improving. Like maybe that person just never thought they could make a call in their entire life, which a lot of people can't, right? Or haven't. And I've gotten to that point. Or, does that make sense? So it's just helping them win incrementally versus like, okay, you win once you get here, right? Enjoy the journey, help them through the process.
I think a lot of coaches struggle with what you just said because like, you were starting that off with like it's your heart, but it's not your heart. You wanted a different way to say that. But I think at the end of the day, coaches are here to impact and teach and change people's lives. And I think that's tough. And I think oftentimes we actually take on that responsibility and almost make it from a mindset perspective, you can almost kind of go down this dark spiral of blaming yourself or making it your fault that clients aren't getting results. Like I've seen some people literally close their businesses because they got so deep in the mindset rabbit hole of that.
Right.
Yeah. What has been the easiest thing for you?
Oh man, I just love talking all day. It's easy.
Do you?
Just love it. Talk all
You
day.
do.
And then I go home and then my wife wants to talk and then I'm tired, don't really want to talk, but I can talk all day. I can talk all day for work. I'll tell you that.
Are you an introvert or extrovert?
I've heard something about like I might be both. Like I might like have I like to be going at like I like to be extrovert, but at the same time I like to be alone. And like for example, like meetups. I a lot of people would think like extrovert would get energy from that, but those actually drain me. Right. I enjoy talking to people, but it takes a lot of energy to like physically be talking to people. Right. Does that make
I'm like
sense?
that. Oh my God. Well, okay. I've taken plenty of personality tests, all different kinds, paid, free, whatever. Who knows if they're accurate? I don't know. I score in like the 98th percentile of being an introvert. Like a lineup of 100 people, I'm going to be one of the more introverted ones, which is so
Wow.
fascinating because I'm similar to you. I get super drained and I actually feel a little awkward sometimes. I tell people this and they're like, well, you don't come across that way. I feel sometimes awkward in like the social settings.
Yeah.
Like I don't like to go up to somebody I've never met or like go up to a group of 4 people and try to bust in and like join the conversation. Like I'd rather find 3 people and just kind of hunker down and talk to those 3 people and not talk to everybody else. But
Yeah.
then, I mean, you see me at, the family mastermind events. I MC those things and you've got to get up there and like talk or speak. I love that. I love to talk and speak and teach. But when I'm done, like, leave me alone. Just
Yeah.
like, I want to be in my little bubble.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
the same way. Like I can get into it, I can talk. Like I have no problem talking, but it's like I'm tired now. Like people are like, "Let's go to dinner." I'm like, "I'm tired. I'm drained. Like I want to go to sleep now." So, yeah, I would say I'm both. I would say like
Yeah.
I'm sort of both.
Both in different situations. Okay.
Mhm.
Last question. What is next for you? What are you really excited about for the future?
I think my goal has always been to help people set like I wouldn't say life coaching necessarily, but it's like more of like helping them understand their vision and their long-term goals and helping them reverse engineer how they're going to get there. That's something I'm super passionate about because like I built my own planner, I built my own I would say like way to get exactly what I want in life. I have like my own tracking system and I love talking about that, but my original goal was to like get good at real estate, get good at teaching it, and then eventually when like I had enough authority, I could teach people how to set goals and do that. So that's what I'm really excited about. That's what I want to teach. I'm very religious too. I love Jesus Christ, so like I wouldn't say like Christ-centered coaching, but like helping people center their lives around like a higher purpose, and for me it would be Jesus Christ. But that's
Yeah.
something I really want to do.
I love it. Nathan, you're awesome.
Thank you.
This has been amazing. Yes.
Thanks.
Cool. So if people are interested in real estate, especially wholesaling, where can they find you? And tell us about your Facebook group and where we can find that too.
Of course. So my name is Nathan Payne, last name Payne. So I call it painless flipping, right? So what we do is painless. It's easy, and it's never easy, right? But I like the painless I make it less painful for people if they want to get into real estate. So anyway, painless flipping, free Facebook group. Check it out. The free courses in there, and you can connect with me. And painlessflipping.com if you want to book a call and just chat. And it can be outside of real estate. Like if you want to chat about whatever, book a call. Let's talk.
Yeah. All right. And that is Payne spelled Payne, not Pain. And all that is in the show notes for everybody. Awesome,
Yeah.
Nathan. Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah. I appreciate you having me. Thanks so much. I learned a lot.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. I know our listeners did too. All right. Until next time, remember to build a business and life that is built to last.